Hello nieces, hello nephews, it's your Uncle Charles here and welcome back to my YouTube channel where we do unbiased price action analysis. And as you guys can see, I asked the question yesterday, can the chop range break today? And the answer was no. However, it was not a very bad trading day, okay? If you trade the sheep style looking to react, all right? I wrote here in my general lean, I would say as long as below 426, I am bearish in favor of gap at 422-ish. If above 426 and 427 recaptures, I'll favor another test of 429.6, possibly to go grab the liquidity above it. And SPY played a big trick on Uncle Charles because her high for today was 429.59. All right, that's the market humbling Uncle Charles right there. Now, you guys know I don't do predictions, but that's as close as it'll get. Okay, overall, though, you see on this 30-minute chart, if you follow Uncle Charles', If you follow Uncle Charles' trading plan, SPY opened around 426.5. All right, so the idea based on my plan was to short below 426, and I was favoring a gap fill around 422, or we long if 427 cleared, which I would favor the test of 429.6, top of the chop range. Right? And like I said, it went 429.59. Didn't get my bear moment. The market wants to play tricks on Uncle Charles. But anyways, overall though, if you played it level to level style, very decent trading day if you ask me. However, you guys can see zoomed out, we are still in the chop range. Okay, we now have a triple top. Market giving us a triple top. Okay, so what does that tell me? Tells me that just above that 429.6 level, there is still a lot of liquidity just above it, guys. There is still a lot of liquidity just above it. Okay, whoever is shorting from 429.6, remember, there's market makers. They're the one controlling the market. Look how perfectly that is. Computer bots, market makers, whoever you want to call it. It's all managed. All right? They are setting up this range for us on purpose. 429.6, you see the multiple rejections from there. So perfect. And that's the 61.8 fib level. All right? On my daily chart. And you can see how many bounces and buying pressure we had from that 426 level even today. All right? This is all managed, manipulated. So we got to use that information to our advantage. That's why Uncle Charles say, don't trade against the traps. Play those false breakdowns and false breakout setups. Make them your best friend. Become the master of them. Whether you're a trend trader or a counter trend trader, become a master of those trade setups. They work very well. And as you guys can see, they work pretty well in chop phases as well. Okay? So if you long the breakout or the recapture of 427, great move, all right? So overall, the plan is still the same. We are in the chop phase as long as we are between the 429.6 to the 426 zone. All right, the range. We are in the chop range. And this, I'm thinking the reason why we're chopping right now is, one, we had a big rally from last week, all right? That was a big rally from last week. Market can't just go up forever. It's actually unhealthy. Tesla doesn't really care, but it's actually unhealthy when the market goes up forever. It needs time to consolidate. But also, for next week, we have a lot of important data days. CPIs next Tuesday, PPIs next Wednesday, as well as FOMC, and we're going to hear from Powell. So you guys traded these in the past. You guys know my trading plan for those days. But you also know that on those days, there's a lot of volatility. The market can go either way. All right, the market can go either way. It is not the day and not the time to mess around and find out. Okay, because the market, they don't care if they humble us. They don't care if we think it'll go up, it'll go down. The market's going to do what it's going to do. All right? So that's the reason I'm thinking that we're chopping right now. It's because, the market's on standby after the rally from last week. Plus, the market's on standby waiting for these data days to release. So we should get some volatility, hopefully some serious movement on those days. Okay? But if that's not the case, all right, and Friday, tomorrow decides to rally, the last few Fridays has been pretty bullish, guys. All right? What I'm thinking, with all that liquidity up there, the market's going to need a gap up. All right? It's been failing to break out of this level intraday. So I'm thinking the market is going to need to gap up and force the shorts to cover. All right? Force the bears out of their position. And that should help with some buying pressure. So watch out if we gap above this level. You see a triple top like this, watch out for a gap up. All right? Also, that's if you're bull. If it gaps up or if it breaks out 429.6, this chop range ends in the favor of the bulls, and we should be going up to higher highs. Does that make sense, guys? All right? If we break it, you want to see 429.6 get treated as support. That's a sign that the market makers or the market movers are accepting that level as the new buy zone. So when you see a roll change in the level from resistant to support, that's bullish, guys. All right? So if you're a bull, you want to see 429.6 break out. Or if you don't get that intraday, we get a gap up and you want to see it clear the next resistance, which is August 2022 high around 431.5 to the 432 zone. That should put higher price targets in play. I got 434.5 and 435 in zone in play and higher. All right, but it needs to clear 429.6 to end this chop in favor of the bulls. I'm thinking we could chop some more until CPI, PPI, and FOMC. But if the market decides, hey, we're not going to wait, we're going to rally right now, I'm not going to argue with the price action. Now, if you're a bear, now that we got this triple top, you want to see support fail. 428.5, 427, and especially 426. If 426 fail, guys, this chop will end in favor of the bears. All right, you got to watch out for that area of liquidity down there. All right, we still could have a bunch of liquidity build up around there. All right, so watch out. False breakouts and false breakdowns will be your best friend if it happens. We'll know if it breaks below 426 and then recapture 426. That's our trigger to go long. We'll know to go short if it breaks out 429.6 and then break back below. That's our trigger to go short, because the market's stop loss hunting and is trying to trick us. Bear traps, bull traps, watch out for all of them. All right, otherwise we are still in the chop phase. All right, use that level 428.5 and 427 as pivot points within this chop phase. A lot of time it's better to scalp, be defensive with your gains. Chop phase are designed to trap us, to trick us out. So play the trappy setups. All right, Triple Q. I wrote here in my Discord, if 349.7 or 351 recaptures, bullish, and look to long with higher price levels in play. That will be a false breakdown setup. All right, that's what I wrote. I would have been bearish. I wrote here, look to short if 348 fails to trigger more downside. All right, now guys, remember, if we zoom out, I have fib levels from March 2020 low to all-time high. 23.6 fib level was 351. Okay, based on that structure. Now, based on the downtrend structure, I have the 61.8 level is at 349.7. That's why I mentioned in my Discord that I would be bullish if it recaptured, and I would be bearish as long as below. Unfortunately for bears, it recaptured and triggered a nice move. It almost hit my 354 level. All right, so as long as above 351, stay bullish. We're in false breakdown mode. That's bullish. Watch for my next target is at 354. If that clears, 356 and 357 to 357.5 zone will be in play. Above that is 360. All right, if you want to get bearish, you got to see 351 and 349.7 fail again. And if they get tested again, that's a sign that we got a dead cat bounce, and that could be bearish. Okay, you guys see here, we could be having the left shoulder, the head, and the right shoulder trying to form right now. All right, to cancel this pattern, Triple Q needs to clear 354. If it clears 354, this pattern is canceled and the targets that I said earlier will be in play, okay? If you want to get bearish, 351, 349.7 must fail, and also 348. We got buy zone from 348. That must fail as well to put 346.5, 344, and 341.5 in play. Let's keep this simple, guys. Let's use the levels and follow the price action. IWM, we got a nice simple setup here with IWM. All right. It's chopping, basing, under critical resistant. All right, that's my 61.8 fib level at 187. Okay, with basing. Not like we got some sell pressure there, but the fact that it tests again, end of day, you know, and plus you see that wick, that's not exactly bearish. So look to long if 187 clears. All right. If it base some more, it's not actually bearish, but it sucks because it might chop some more, right? But if you're a bear and you want to see some decent sell move to the downside, 185 support level must fail. All right, 185 support level must fail to put 183.3, 181.7, and 179.6 in play. Use these levels, add them to your charts. Use the 15-30 minute chart, guys, to play the breakouts or the false breakouts and so on. Tesla, very proud of this trade setup that I wrote on Tesla. Okay, I had the bull case after hitting my 1.38.6 fib level at 229. Tesla pulled back, talking about yesterday, closing around my 224-ish level. If below 224.5, Tesla needs to recapture or clear 226 to put higher price targets in play. Okay, my bear case scenario was it needed to break down 224.5 and it had 223 in play first, with 220.8 below. I would have been a lot more bearish below 220.8 because that would have been a false breakout setup. All right, a false breakout setup of this 1.236 fib level would have been a false breakout setup. But instead, Tesla dropped to my 223 level. That's the low for today. Bounce, recaptured 224.5 and 226. So the false breakdown setup, the greatest trade setup of all time, works well with the Tesla as well. All right, bull case was amazing, and I hope you guys caught it. And look at where it closed, just below my 1.5 Fibonacci level. Fibonacci levels work. I love it. It's based on math. Now, if Tesla wants to continue to defy gravity, because that's what it's pretty much been doing lately, it needs to clear 235.5 to put 242 in play. All right. Right now, bears need 229 to fail as support, 223 and 220.8 to fail as support, set up a false breakout setup and maybe give us some type of pullback, because you can see this up move is pretty vertical, not very healthy, especially with the RSI so overbought. Bollinger Band is pretty much closed outside the upper Bollinger Band. All right, so you guys got my levels on Tesla. And Apple, see, Apple is looking a lot more healthy than Tesla, okay? It's not, you know, get the Bollinger Band out here. It's not quite outside the upper Bollinger Band, unlike Tesla, all right? RSI isn't overbought or anything, so as far as indicators go, you know, it's not too bad. Still trading above this orange trend line from January 2023 low, all right? Now, right now, we have a setup. Yesterday's range was 181.2 to 177.3. Today's range is within that range. So we got an inside daily candle setup here. I love these setups. It worked well with IWM the other day. All right. So if you want to be bullish, long the breakout of 181.2. If you want to be bearish, short the breakdown of 177.3. All right. But we still need to break down this downtrend line of this uptrend line. Excuse me. It's now at 176.2, guys. So that's what bears need to do. Break down 176.2. NVDA, I got it in a triangle. All right, it's basing. You know, 377.7 broke down yesterday, but NVDA recaptured it. False breakdown setup. It's the GOAT. And it triggered a very nice move going as high as 388.6. You know, that's very beautiful move right there. But didn't manage to, you know, I had the 61.8 fib level at 386.6. didn't quite close above it end of day. So it needs to clear that. I got this triangle pattern. Breakout is actually 386.6 as well for tomorrow. So look to long above 386.6. I do have support at 382.7. If that fails, 379 and 377.7 would be back in play. Below that would be support of the triangle pattern. Okay, for tomorrow, it's around 376. Okay, for tomorrow. So break down 376. That's a very bearish breakdown. All right, you guys got my levels. AMD is also basing in this triangle pattern. All right, we had a false breakout setup yesterday. It's overall bearish, but we kind of got a bounce today. Maybe it needs to consolidate. Who knows? But what I can tell you, based on this triangle pattern structure, 116.7 needs to fail, and maybe we can get a multi-day sell-off to the downside with the gap fill at 108. And I got a target around 105.6 and 103.5. Okay, if you want to be bullish, it needs to break out the triangle pattern. First thing it needs to clear is 122.5. That's a fib level. And to break out this triangle pattern is 124. So above 124, I would be bull bias with 130 and higher price targets in play. VIX is dumping some more. All right, that's my blue support line based on a previous pivot low around 13.4. It's kind of hit it today. If it breaks down, 11.75 is in play with 10 below. All right, I need a false breakdown setup. Needs to clear 15.6. All right, but you know the VIX, I think it's a volatility measurement. So with the SPY chopping, it's not surprising to see the VIX like this. But I don't think it's gonna last that much longer with all those data releases coming out next week. All right, now let's end this with dark pool. 428.3 million at that 428.3 level. All right, that's very interesting, right? But not quite over $1 billion in premium. We did have over $1 billion premium 428 yesterday, so it's pretty close. We did manage to close above that. Let's see if it'll hold that support. If you're following dark pool levels, otherwise you follow Uncle's levels based on the charts. SPY here, filter for 500K premiums or above. Overall bearish as usual. Let's see, 1 month out. Bullish for 1 month out though, for June 30th. Okay. I prefer to look at all expiration date, get the overall vibe, even though it's been bearish all the time. What I like to do is look at it, just to catch the sentiment. For all we know, this could be a bunch of retailers, and we should just inverse them. What's next? Tesla, 91% in the calls. At least they got this one right. Apple, 95% in the puts. June 30th, this one's 180 strike price. So, pretty at the money. NVDA, 90%, 96% in the calls. Not that much contract, only 3,000. AMD, 19,000 contracts for calls, 90% in the calls. And here's the VIX, 100% in the calls, over 114,000 contracts. All right, all calls. Somebody's buying the low. I mean, when's the last time you saw VIX's low? It's been a while. If you're gonna enter calls on the VIX, swing calls or whatever, you got time on it. I mean, I think now is a good time, especially with all those data releases next week. Not a bad trade if you ask me, but manage those risks, guys. All right. Also, Uncle Chavez does not have jury duty. Yay. So thank you guys for praying for me. Discord members, let's make some good money tomorrow because Uncle Chavez, I haven't traded in the last couple of days. So excited for tomorrow. Thank you guys for watching. If you want more content from Uncle Chavez, please consider joining my Discord. Other than that, have a good evening. Peace.